Hello and welcome to the new series I call Should You Play It, where I gave myself the mission to play the free weekly games provided by Epic Games. So it's been since 2018 that I remember Epic Games giving out these free games. Over that period of time, there has been some great games that were for free for a limited time, like World War Z, Celeste, Hello Neighbor, Subnautica, Super Meat Boy, Super Hot, the Stanley Parable, and the Talos Principle. Not to mention that you keep these games after acquiring them. So, when I saw the game Hob that I didn't finish for some reason, and the game World War Z, good game by the way, and it's worth $35, I told myself that I would review the games and see if I can find the good ones that are worth playing. Because there are some that I wouldn't play for 1,000 years, but that I still have, well, because they're free, like Farming Simulator 19. Like, did they have to make that many improvements and new content that the 19th version is better than the previous 18th? I don't know. But as one fact stands, is that there are some great games that become free. And that's why I'm reviewing the game Hob. So to give it a little backstory, the game Hob was released in 2017 by the game studio called Runic Games, which made the games Torchlight 1 and 2. Now Hob is a beautiful game, I can say that with confidence. Because I play most of my games for how they look, because that's what you see all the time in front of you on your screen when you play. So you want something to look aesthetically pleasing. Now the art and the structures remind me a lot of the film Castle in the Sky from Studio Ghibli, with all their advanced technologies and moving structures. They're all holding together by some energy. So if the visuals are not enough to convince you to play, the whole exploration aspect and the level design will convince you. Because in most games, it's a big open world with destination to go to, quest to complete, etc. But in Hob, for most of the game, it's you following a path that the dev wants you to follow, so it's much more linear. What makes it fun, though, is that almost everything in the world has a purpose. So that cliff that you just saw, that weird wall, or even tree bushes, might reveal the next path for you to take, or even secrets that you might not thought of them being there. So they all have use at least once. And I say at least because most games, you go in a dungeon, you fight the monsters, and you forget about it. Instead in Hob, you go to that place, you finish a puzzle, and 1 or 2 hours later, you end up in the same place, both with an access to an opening that you previously couldn't go to. Now the game just feels rewarding for the effort you put in, and for the most part, I was more or less able to navigate myself through the levels thanks to the landscape and without the help of the map. The game just flows super nicely in general. Like the attacks, the rolls, the brandish of the shield, it just feels fluid, and the pace of the game in general. So I would say one thing: if you're playing on a PC, do yourself a favor and plug yourself a controller. Because the number of times I missed my jumps or didn't grab the ledge because I wasn't angled properly was just too many. Maybe it's just me at sucking at parkour, but I can safely say that the game was designed to play on a controller. Let me explain myself. So you see this? This is your keyboard basically. So there's up, right, left, and down, right? But you can also do diagonal lines, like this one, or this one, and this one, by pressing both up and left key. But what happens if you want to go, let's say, this way? What do you do? Because you can't press, even if you press up and down, you'll go this way. So what do? You just spam your button up and left, hoping that you're gonna hit the angle you want. So that's that's pretty much the whole control annoying part that I don't like, is that there's some jumps that you require this kind of control, and with the controller you just move your pad around and it should be good. But with the keyboard you have to spam your up and left. It's not very effective. And you're gonna miss your jumps or ledges. Also, there are some rounded edges and platforms that are just super hard to navigate. So, keeping that in mind, it's just much better on a controller. I also read that some people had some bugs and issues throughout the game, and for me, the only place that was kind of buggy was when there was rounded edges but as platforms, and the platforms weren't platforms, they were mostly like robot parts or whatever. So when they implement the rounded edges or rounded platforms, that's when the game hitboxes start to become janky a bit. But in Resume, just use a controller. It's gonna be much better. Don't go through what I went. It's just much better. Plug yourself a nice controller and enjoy your game. But yeah, moving on from that. Music was perfect to complete the atmosphere that devs envisioned. It's just, I'll just let it play for itself. So as a side note, I didn't include the story because I think that it's best enjoyed just from playing it. Similarly to Dark Souls, the landscape and the runes gives most of the information you need to understand the game. And now, time for the ultimate questions. Is it a difficult game? I just say I would rate it 3 stars out of 5. And 5 being Dark Souls level difficulty, like completely insane, you're gonna die a lot. Considering some mods can one-shot you if you're careful, and adding the control shenanigans and the ledges, it's medium difficulty. Not too hard, not too easy, just perfect. Also, just another quick side note. I did have trouble finding where I had to go around 2 times, but generally just stick to the map and you should be good. Now, would I buy it? The answer, truthfully, would be no. If I would have just glanced over it while looking for games to buy, I probably wouldn't have bought it. Now, if I knew it would be a good investment of my time and it would be more than just a good looking game, then probably yes. Now keep in mind that the game is 10 hours long and it's currently $22. So if you want a short packed adventure, go ahead, I'm not stopping you. Keep in mind that it's free right now on Epic Games for the next 2 days. Yes, I know I took myself a bit too late to do this video. It's my fault. I sound like an advertisement right now. But if you're searching for a game that's gonna last you more than a week of gameplay, it might not be for you. If you want like a long game, there's other games like Subnautica or The Forest they're action packed, but they're a bit longer because there's crafting involved and stuff like that. So, for my personal enjoyment of the game, I would give it 4 stars out of 5. It's just a good game. Now, finally, should you play it? Hell yeah.